Good morning, team. Thank you for joining the 7 a.m. sync on such short notice. I'll be brief. As many of you may have heard, His Highness Uriel Septim VII was assassinated last night. Per Chancellor Okado's directive, we are to maintain a calm workplace environment and adhere to standard operating procedure. All bereavement leave requests must go through the usual process. The Blades will now lead a daily moment of silence at 9 a.m. near the extinguished Dragonfire pit. A recurring invite will be sent shortly. Any questions? The rumors regarding the disturbance in Kawach being Daedra related are entirely unconfirmed. Please refrain from speculation in public Slack channels until we have verified information. Anything else? Yes, someone did replace the Nespresso pods in the break room with decaf. That was a separate security incident, and the perpetrator has been identified and disciplined. If no other questions, I'll see you all at 9. Thank you.
You've been to the palace for a long time. How would you describe the culture before and after all this happened?
Well, this is your average state owned company. Culture is not exactly our strong suit. There's no budget for trivial things like maintaining the employee morale. It's mostly managing the provincial bureaucracy and keeping the royal family alive and operational. And that alone should tell you something about the cultural climate around here following the events of last week.
What was your first reaction when you heard the emperor had been assassinated?
I was distraught, obviously, but at the same time, I can't say I was very surprised. Most of the blades stationed around here have been meeting expectations for years, but very few have been exceeding them. They got comfortable at their levels, and I don't think they were pursuing excellence. What happened here, and I'm not trying to say it was their fault, not at all, but when management allows the bar to drift lower year after year, I can't pretend to be shocked by the outcome.
Was there ever a formal succession plan in place?
Oh, yes, yes. The Elder Council had a comprehensive succession plan. It began and ended with the Emperor's three sons. Coincidentally, all three of them ended last week also. There were no contingencies beyond that. I understand the Council didn't have much bandwidth to expand the plan. They are often consumed by other critical initiatives. Last week, for example, they spent 2 days choosing the catering vendor for the company offsite.
So, who's technically in charge right now?
Technically, it's Chancellor Okado. That said, he has been locked in an Elder Council session ever since the Emperor's passing. Occasionally, we do get single word directives via scroll, things like stabilize or contain, which is super helpful. We wouldn't have known what to do without those. Every time they emerge for a coffee break from the meeting chamber, they all look visibly aged, Okado especially. So I'm not really sure in charge is the phrase I would use here.
What does a standard workday look like now?
There have been a few procedural changes. We now start every day with a moment of silence at 9 a.m. around the extinguished Dragonfire pit. Beyond that, departments are improvising. Some have gone back to business as usual, some have become fully remote, and others are just disassociating. The real concern is the Mythic Dawn. We've uncovered two cultists among staff in internal comms and catering, respectively. One of them was distributing the Mythic Dawn pamphlets in the ladies' room. Both were escorted out by the Blades. We are assuming it was handled with dignity and due process.
Have there been changes to protocols since the assassination?
Absolutely. Physically accessing the building is much more challenging now. The Blades have installed what they call Daedra influence screens at all entry points to the palace, and they're just creating massive queues. They're mostly decorative. They did not detect the two Mythic Dawn cultists, but they do glow faintly, which apparently reassures people. Similarly, the break room has mandatory patrols now. If you take more than 15 minutes to eat lunch, someone checks in. If you mention Mehrunes Dagon over coffee, you get flagged by security. Several staff members have been asked not to report to work for precautionary reasons, mostly the ones who were overheard saying anything along the lines of he deserved it or quoting the commentaries on the Mysterium Xerxes. Also, apparently, the Emperor's key card went missing, which is a massive security issue. It was the master access credential for all the restricted areas in the palace and also the ignition mechanism for the dragonfires. My understanding is that the Blades are trying to recover it, but until then, everyone's on high alert.
How are you supporting morale at this difficult time?
Well, first of all, we're not saying anything about the people who are clearly abusing the bereavement leave policy. We just thought that would be tasteless. Other than that, we are just trying to maintain a calm atmosphere, just do all the things that we usually do, like casual Freddas, sweet rolls on Thursdays mornings. And we are hoping to hold a resilience workshop next week, hopefully when the Elder Council clears the meeting chamber. We also had a memorial for the Emperor, which was sponsored by the Temple of RK and has seen a great turnout. I think people felt really comforted and united in the face of this terrible tragedy.
Was the employee engagement survey still rolled out this week?
Yes, unfortunately, that was an automated workflow, so there was really no stopping it. It went out first thing on Midas morning, which was not ideal timing given the regicide. And yeah, the initial responses were not great. Our EMPS dropped 35 points overnight, and the lowest scoring question was, how do you feel about the future of this organization? No one scored that one well, not even the Blades, and they usually skew optimistic. We've temporarily hidden the dashboard, but we'll have to report this at the QBR.
Are there any updates on when operations might return to normal?
That's difficult to say. We are hoping the Elder Council emerges from the chamber with a strategic plan, hopefully one that doesn't involve another emergency air hunt or any additional succession related fatalities. Until then, things are a bit improvised. That said, the morale among staff is cautiously optimistic, especially the ones who believe that the rumored heir is real and that the Blades can, in fact, track him down. If that's the case, we might be able to stabilize. But either way is going to take time. Best case scenario, Q3 next year. That's assuming Mehrunes Dagon doesn't take over the Elder Council.
Do you personally feel safe working here right now?
To be perfectly honest, not really. Not really. And it's not just the Mythic Dawn agents that were wandering the premises, though that was concerning. It's also the general uncertainty. You know, I've stopped going to the cafeteria. I'm bringing my own lunch. I'm mostly keeping to myself and my team. And a lot of us do. Cross functional projects have stalled because no one's really engaging with any other departments. We're just all waiting for somebody to say something definitive, anything at all. And beyond the day to day, I don't even know if there's a future for me here. Say that the heir does exist and they find him and they bring him back. I don't know who he's going to be. I don't know what kind of leadership we're walking into. He could be inspiring or hostile or just very into open plan offices. So, no, it's not the best time to be an Imperial Palace employee, but someone still needs to run payroll. Boris, hi. Thanks for picking up. Just wanted to follow up on the item you flagged in the security report. Something about a confirmed heir. Yes, I read the memo. Priority asset secured, Septim dynasty restored. I suppose my question is, who exactly verified it? No, I understand Joffrey says he's the legitimate heir. I'm not trying to question his authority. It's just that we have seen skilled mages impersonate emperors for about a decade before. So I'm just wondering what due diligence has been completed. Yes, I'm sure the monk was very convincing. And this woman who escorted him? Armor mismatch, minor blood loss, Daedric residue on her cloak. Has anyone briefed her? She left, I see, with a horse that wasn't hers. Understandable given the circumstances. Okay, okay. I'll keep the air off the org chart for now. But I'm gonna need something more concrete before the QPR. At least a likely legitimate tag or something. Right. He speaks well. We'll see if that helps light the dragon fires again. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if he survives, I'll fast track his onboarding.
For those less familiar, can you explain the dragon fires?
Of course, happy to clarify. The dragon fires are an ancient magical flame lit by the ruling septim. They act as a barrier between Tamriel and aggressive freelance Daedric activity. As long as the fires are lit, the Daedric incursions are blocked from entering the mortal plane. If the fires go out, which they have, it's what we in HR call a soft boundary failure.
That sounds serious.
To be perfectly honest, I only have historical documentation to reference here. This has never happened in my career. But from what I understand, no, it's not trivial. Thank you all for attending the Imperial Palace All Hands today. I have a few brief updates. First, the Elder Council has emerged from the meeting chamber. They have declared the heir to be legitimate and tasked the Blades with protecting, escorting, and reinstating him. Timeline is fluid. Second, departments are to continue business as usual until further notice. This includes performance review week, followed by the promotion cycle. Third, yes, an Oblivion Gate has opened near Kawach. Additional sightings have been reported across the province, but remain unconfirmed at this time. Please refer to the business continuity plan in your Notion workspace. The Dragonfires remain out. Self-reviews kick off on Morndas. Stay safe, and please make sure to report any Mythic Dawn pamphlets to security ASAP. Over to you, Chancellor.